Good evening and thank you for tuning in to the Post-Apocalyptic News Radio, your only source for latest goings on in the little corner of the post-apocalyptic wasteland we call home. Our top story tonight, Radio Rivalry. More on that later. For now, let's talk about tomorrow's weather. A stormy day tomorrow with heavy rains. We can expect to see temperatures drop to a range between 24 and 22 degrees Celsius. Wind speeds are picking up to 15 kilometers per hour. Take shelter and be careful, for a storm is a dangerous thing. But that's our weather, and now on to more pressing matters. It's no secret that this world is a dangerous place. People have grown desperate and taken to helping themselves to your stuff when you're least prepared. Stay ready, stay informed with the latest reported bandit movements. This is less a bandit group on the move and more an operation. For a time, we've spoken of the Merkva, bandits who've murdered those who they've stolen from. Now, with all their ill-gotten goods, they've built a settlement. They've named it Evkrim, the inverse of their name. Here they declare all outlaws are welcome to trade. With all they've gathered, it is a veritable gold mine. Authorities are on their way to halt travel to and from this area. I'm sure some among you might ask, but we have been asked not to disclose this settlement's location, for fear of informing other outlaws of safe harbor and overwhelming the authorities. Rest assured, if you happen to find yourself that way, you will be intercepted and sent back. Moving on. Friends, families, and loved ones have all been separated by the vast wasteland. Our mailing services are unreliable, facing the dangers of the waste alone. They risk their very lives that we are not forgotten or estranged. By popular harassment, we're closing that distance. Stay tuned for letters from home. This letter is from Andy Hill, addressed to PANR. To read for one Bob Baker. The letter reads, Dear Bob, haven't heard from you in a few weeks. Tom's come into some fish from a good trade deal. We're going to fry it up soon. If you're not dead, come by. And take a shower first. We're trying to keep our house clean. Hill. Mr. Baker, I hope you were listening. Go spend time, have good food, and save me a plate. If you want a message read on air, send us your letter with your name and who the letter's for. Now, we're going to have to go to commercial, but don't touch that dial, because we'll be right back with more of the latest. Is the wasteland void of academic opportunities? Do you long to flex your mentality? Does lording your knowledge over others appeal to you? Then go jump in a lake, Richard. We're tired of it. Coral Lighthouse is in need of one to man it, save ships and lives, illuminate the sky. And we're back, and I am so sorry for that advertisement. Sometimes these things slip through the cracks. Moving swiftly along. The world outside has changed, the environment has grown cruel and harsh, water and food have become prized commodities, and all the creatures we once knew have had to adapt. Some are kind, some strange, many monstrous. Let's discuss our new wasteland fauna. When creatures die, they rot and are eaten. A great many things eat the dead. One of them is the armored boar, covered from head to toe in plate-like structures. They roam freely in the wastes with few predators. In every other way, they are like the bulls of the world that was, but their diet is solely of dead animals. Oftentimes, traveling in hordes of 7 or more, they will circle a dying creature waiting for them to die. Many people traveling the wastes have met this dreadful fate. I imagine they would make rather morbid pets. I'm quite lucky to have Miss Beans here. But let's move on. Let's talk survival. More accurately, let's talk survival cooking. More specifically, let's talk quality survival culinary. Most of us haven't had a decent meal since the world ended, living off the scraps of the world past, or risking contaminated meat hunted from our new furry friends. Often bland or bitter, these meals leave us wanting. However, thanks to a kind soul traveling the wastes, I know a few things you can do to better your meals. This is another safety cooking tip. Meat is swarmed with bacteria, parasites, and all nasty things, typically on the outside. If you grind your meat into sausages or anything else, you must cook it completely. Why? Because you've allowed harmful microbes into the center of your meat. On that same note, wheresoever you've prepared the meat is now covered in those same microbes. You cannot make sausage on your countertop and then make a salad on that same counter. For my sanity, I beg of you, sanitize your cooking areas between every food. And wash your hands, you disgusting animals! But before I get too upset, let's move on. It's time for our top story of the evening. We seem to have found ourselves in a radio rivalry, where PANR offers all the latest goings-on in a little corner of the post-apocalyptic wasteland we call home. This new station, Cities and Home, speak of their personal lives then and now. Fortunately, they're on in the morning, so our times do not conflict. You should give them a shot. A moment of nostalgia is not a bad thing. But with that, I'm afraid we're out of time. I should like to thank you so much for tuning in. I wish you all the very best. And if you're truly out there, good luck.